Oh, it's one of those songs I don't like to interrupt. It's a very weird cover of a very weird song, and I'm not going to say what it is. I'm going to make people guess, because I know a lot of people probably recognize it, but it's like a buried memory that's somewhere deep down inside them, and I don't want to ruin that suspense, that orgasm denial that I've got built up so far. Hello, my friends. Today is a Friday, and not much has happened last week in terms of like internet stuff. Because right off the bat, Boogie got fucked because someone FOIA'd, Freedom of Information Act, requested all the body cam footage and all the 911 call transcripts and recordings from, like, I guess that they have on record. And not only did Boogie lie about being swatted in the time frame that he suggested he lied about being swatted altogether. There were no swatting instances with him. So after this shocking revelation that Boogie, mother's favorite Boogie, has lied to the internet once again, he's kind of slinked off into a warm cocoon of self-pity that he's woven for himself. There's a clip. I guess I could pull up the clip. I didn't really plan on talking with Boogie much, but I think that this clip is worth sharing. And luckily, I have it posted to my Twitter somewhere. Oh God, I've been on Twitter so much the last week. What the fuck's wrong with me? I'm turning into a normie. Where the fuck did I put it? Oh, I feel so embarrassed right off the bat. I'm hideously unprepared. Okay, there's the thing from my last stream. I'm getting warmer. Aha. Here we go. This is all you need to know from the recordings of him with the police. This part right here.
Yeah, he's got some high-end stuff here. Look at that. Have you ever been here? This guy's a very famous YouTuber. Really? He's got 4 or 5 million subscribers. Why? He started out making really funny videos about like he had this character named Francis, and then it kind of turned into like video game reviews and yeah, he's got
that's the extent of the conversation. They're at the house. They've been there a couple times. His roommate comes out, and it's kind of like his relationship with his roommate is weird. Toad McKinley kind of I sent him a message because he gave me a shout out in his last Chantal video, which of course I end up seeing because everything about Chantal gets thrown my way these days. But I'm talking to him, and he sent me this, actually, the YouTube video with the body cam footage and stuff. But then he sends me another clip where Boogie's talking about how while he was married and living with his wife, he had this weird fat guy living with him that is apparently his roommate, and he shows up in these clips. But the real highlight is the 2 police officers. And one of them knows Boogie and says, like, he used to be funny. He used to have this character. He used to do these things on YouTube that got him 4 to 5 million subscribers. He used to be these things, and the other cop is just like in disbelief that these dumpy fat people who keep getting called on for wellness checks, because I think that this footage was following like an actual, like it wasn't like a fake wellness check where someone was fucking with them. Someone Boogie knew, it might have even been the quartering, called the police and said that he's threatening suicide online and couldn't get a wellness check. And they show up to the door for like the 3rd time, and it's just like, you know who lives here? He likes to bait suicide on the internet a lot. And after this came out and people were making fun of him, he tried to put out this video. Like, I think he tried to bait a drama bomb with the shitty video he did excusing himself for lying about being swatted. And then he put out like a regular content video that he'd been promising, and everyone was like, oh, it was a regular Boogie video. So it kind of seemed like he wanted to up and get attention to this new video he put out, but it backfired so horrendously. He literally changed his name on Twitter to a sack of shit and disappeared. And I think he hasn't returned to the internet since then. So, and this all happened after, right after the last stream, last Friday. I think it was on Saturday or Sunday that all this came out and drove him off into the dark abyss of a food coma, presumably. I don't know what he does. He doesn't seem like the kind of person who actually would drink Mountain Dew eat pizza and play Call of Duty. He just seems like someone who would be very sad and feel sorry for himself and not really do much. Oh, well. The big thing everyone's been talking about is, of course, the coronavirus. China has now, at this point, locked. When I say quarantine, I mean China does not have the freedom of movement that the United States or the Schengen region has. There are borders between the provinces of China. So when I say they quarantined 440 million people, half their population, what I'm saying is that the states cannot travel between each other for fear of spreading the coronavirus more than it already has been. Now, unlike some people, I am not worried about this virus. And I'm not worried about this virus because reports have come out from China in their studies that the coronavirus attaches to the lung receptors that are 5 times more likely in Asian males. And because we do not have, because we have a specific inhibitor, white people do. White people are, according to Zach Voorhees, we are essentially immune to the coronavirus. So am I concerned? If you think about it, think about all the cases that exist outside of Asia. There basically are none. Why? Because we have the privilege. We have the immunity. There will be no corona epidemic in the United States or in Europe. Oh, we got some black people in chat who are panicking. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any data on the coronavirus in black people or Latinos. I don't know. Maybe you're all fucked as well. I just know that according to Zach Voorhees, I am fine, and that's all that matters to me. So everyone in chat who's white, press 1, and everyone else can just not press anything because we win, and that's what matters. So thank you, chat. Thank you. All this panic, all this talk about the apocalypse, not feeling it. Feels good, man. Feels good. No, I will all the ones. I will start panicking if we find out that white people can get the virus like from a sexually transmitted disease, and I'll feel doubly uncomfortable if we find out that dogs can carry the virus. At that point, we're pretty much fucked. There's nothing we can hope for in terms of surviving the virus. We're going to be infected by the end of the year. But so far, so good. All airborne, and my lungs are made of white titanium. So we're set. Now, if you're feeling good about being white right now, I got some bad news for you.
Wait a minute, double one? Double one, go ahead. Go ahead, man.
That's
Put it on the speaker. There you go. Right here. Here it is, right here. There you go. Mr. White Man, get these white women and get these white people a hand, man. Keep on coming. Keep on coming. Keep on coming, Mr. White Man. Keep on going. Keep on going, man. Most High in Christ, man. You understand? Now, they showing what it means to really salute a prophet and a priest of the Lord. Right. Keep going. Keep going. The party out. Show y'all. Come on, folks. Get your boot kissed, man. Get the
If you're only listening, what's happening right now is the Black Hebrews, I don't know where they're at, are getting their shoes, their leather boots kissed by a white couple that are passing by. So even though we may be immune to the coronavirus, we are not immune to losing our pride and dignity as a people. So I guess it's a fair trade. We may not die physically, but we'll die emotionally and mentally more and more every day. I think that's it. I think everyone else has been talking about the coronavirus for too long. I don't give a shit. If I die, I die. That's my perspective. The most cuck people are those who are afraid of death. Let's just move. Actually, okay. DSP, because I talked to Rakita, and I'm gonna proceed with the assumption that nobody listening has heard the live stream with Rakita. I know that's not true, but for the purposes of making the stream a thing that someone can listen to in like a year from now, to give you a rundown, me and Rakita, 2 days ago, I think on Wednesday, we had a conversation about Dark Side Phil filing for bankruptcy. Now, let me just prelude this by saying that it's really annoying talking about a locale that has a huge hatedom because the people will like come out of the woodwork to contradict you and say like, oh, I can't believe you got this guy to talk about him. You should have gotten this other guy to talk about him. This guy didn't even know that Darkside Phil had his AdSense account back. He didn't even know that Darkside Phil has 2 PayPal accounts. It's like, motherfucker, I can only keep up with so much. My brain is not a perfectly refined database of Darkside Phil lore. It was the same thing with like the Wings of Redemption guys. The Wings of Redemption guys were way, way out there. The Wings of Redemption guys were like genuine fucking nut jobs who absolutely wanted to drive Jordy to kill himself. Darkside Phil people, probably not that much, but a lot of them are hoping like, oh, he lied or he was wrong on this form. What's the odds of him going to federal prison for perjury and being anally raped? And if he does get anally raped, what are his odds of getting HIV? And if he gets HIV, what are his odds of dying from HIV? It's like, okay, well, number one, let's calm the fuck down. We're not there yet. We're not to the point where we should be putting wages on how much like hemorrhaging his anus will have if he gets raped in federal prison. We should focus on what's in front of us, and what's in front of us is just a poorly written out piece of shit. He's probably not going to get put in prison for perjury. So if you're one of these people who read this and saw all the mistakes in it and thought, this is the end of Darkside Phil, he's going to go to prison for perjury, you might want to not put your money on that because you're going to be wrong. We don't put people in prison anymore, especially not for perjury and especially not for debt-related crimes. Because if someone's in prison, they cost the state money, and the whole point of these things is to get people paying their bills, generating that revenue, generating that tax income. So there's a 0% chance he's going to prison off of what's already been filed. And without going page by page to the document, I'll just kind of sum it up. He is now filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And in U.S. bankruptcy law, Chapter 7 is the one that results in debt being expunged and removed. So what you're saying is I have incurred significant financial difficulty. My income is not very significant. It's below the median for the state. And what I want to do is sell off everything I can, try and pay the bills as much as I can, and then walk away from this with no debt. Something to that effect. That's not the bankruptcy is really complicated, technically complicated. So there's ins and outs, all sorts of caveats, and every debt is treated differently. But that's the gist of it. You want to walk away with a clean slate, with as close to a clean slate as possible, barring the 10-year record that it leaves that says that you declared bankruptcy. So Chapter 7 is typically reserved for someone, again, who makes little money. And in Darkside Phil's bankruptcy filing, he claims that he makes $10,000 a month, which is not insignificant. It is on par with what actually estimated his net income or his gross income would be, close to $10,000. Adding up all his tips, adding up his Patreon account, adding up his AdSense account and his metrics on that, $10,000 was about right. The problem is that he claims that he has over $5,000 a month in expenses, saying that, and not just expenses, but business expenses. And chances are what he's doing is saying, all interest is business income or business expenses. His 2 mortgages are business expenses. His car payment is a business expense. His interest on his credit card consumer debt is a business expense. Obviously, he's going to have some business expenses. The biggest one is his internet, because he has 2 different internet connections in case he gets denial of service attacked for his streams. I'm sure, he could write off some of the debt for his electronics or business expenses. But at the same time, he's claiming that he doesn't have any electronics in the filing. Darkside Phil, professional streamer, video game enthusiast of 15 plus years, claims that he has no electronics and no collectibles in his house that he owns. So that's speculated. Is that a lie, or is he going to try to say that his wife owns those electronics and collectibles? he is saying that he does not have a sole proprietorship, which he does, called Burnell Productions. And in fact, in the document, he later claims that he owns a business called Burnell Productions. But at the same time, he's saying that it's not a sole proprietorship, even though it is. There's tons and tons of horrifically conflicting information, and not information in a way that is that requires a deep understanding of Darkside Phil to see as conflicting and incorrect. If you read the document and you have no idea who Phil is, you're going to naturally come to the conclusion that there are discrepancies, and that's before you know anything about him. You don't have to know, you don't have to see the videos of him recording his room where he has a $400 PS4 virtual reality goggle kit laying on the ground to think that this guy whose business is doing live streams might have electronics in his home. So there's tons of stuff like that. His house in Connecticut is $40,000 under the water, which means that he bought the house in 2008 at the height of the bubble, and then immediately lost all the value in that home. Hasn't been paying the mortgage beyond the interest, so it's still like it has no equity in that home, and they're foreclosing on him. So that's $60,000 on that. His home, and the big one is his condo in Washington where he lives, is he fudges the numbers on how much that one's worth, because if you file for bankruptcy in Washington, if your home is worth a certain amount, it can be sold. Like the government can force you to sell your home and downsize so that you can use your equity in the home to pay off your bills that you owe your creditors. He's using old numbers, old evaluations from Zillow to claim his house is worth much less than it is right now. His house is appreciated in value significantly, like his Connecticut home, because housing and real estate in Seattle or near Seattle is going up. So that's why his home is worth more, but he's using a 2006 figure to say his house is worth less than this hard limit for the liquidation requirement for the state. Tons of stuff going on with that is just, you look at it and you think he's trying to, he thinks he's clever. He really does, because the other option is that his attorney is lying on his behalf. But his attorney claims in the document she received a flat fee because he's going into bankruptcy. She has to be paid for the entire filing up front. She's been paid only $1,200. So for $1,000, she's probably not going to put that much effort into the filing, and is only going to go through it to make sure that the basic sanity tests pass. And to the most basic level, the form is filled out, and the numbers almost always add up. It's just that the sources, the information, and the webbing of the logic is completely mangled, and it's likely that Darkside Phil thinks that he's putting one over on the court. But he has 14 different creditors listed on his documents. He has $500,000 of debt, basically. And of that, there's about $130,000 of credit card debt, consumer credit card debt, split up between 14 different credit agencies. So now he's really got to hope that those 14 different banks are not going to send people to look at this document and try and get him off of Chapter 7. Because if he doesn't get every single thing he's asking for, if he loses any of these points or any of these numbers are challenged on his document, and almost assuredly they will be, because it's $500,000 in contention, number one. But number two, I guarantee you there are like 100 people who hate Darkside Phil who have already emailed these banks with information about Phil, asking them to challenge this bankruptcy filing. If any of these numbers are challenged, that's number one, that's not included in the $1,200 filing fee. So he's going to have to pay her more money to clean up his mess. But number two, if he's kicked off of Chapter 7, if the courts looks at this paper and says you don't qualify for Chapter 7, you have to file for Chapter 11 or 13, that means he doesn't lose the debt. Instead, what happens is the court puts him on a payment plan, kind of like you would with the IRS. The court goes through and takes all this money and says, for the next 50 years, you will pay this back It won't be with interest, I don't think, but you will set aside this amount of money to pay these bills for the rest of your life. So right now, he's really hoping to make a clean break. He's hoping to get all of his debts expunged, and it's very, I would say it's unlikely. I mean, Darkside Phil has his Darkside Phil luck about him, the luck of the Irish, the luck of the gout. But if it were anyone else, it would be very, very easy to say. I would be very confident in saying he probably won't get what he's asking for. And at the very least, they're going to say, you don't qualify for Chapter 7. You're going to have to pay back these debts over time. So that's the gist of the conversation I had with Rikita. Rikita had a lot of good information regarding bankruptcy. And I mean, it was a long conversation because we went over every page. So if you're more interested in Darkside Phil, go find that Rikita stream. But if you're just kind of wanting to know the highlights, that's the gist. Numbers don't add up. He's desperately trying to keep his home. He's desperately trying to get this debt erased, not just put on a payment plan. He does not want to pay this money back. And a lot of that reason is because all the consumer debt he has went into mobile gacha games. The big one that we found out about recently was a game called WWE Champions that we believe he put between $10,000 at the very least up to $40,000 into this mobile game so that he could pay to win his way to number 4 worldwide in December. Oh, the sex bots are back? That's great. That's the thing that I saw in other people's streams as well, is a lot of people have these weird chat bots that just take messages, add emojis to them, and then put them back in chat to get people to click on their profiles. Here, I'll mod the Polish. I'm gonna get a group of Poles together and sort this out. Okay, perfect. Let me get a drink. Where's my soda? Mod the bot? No. Yeah, aim. Aim at the thoughts. No e-girls. That's the rule. Where's my no e-girls clip at?
Not interested. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Brittany Venti, but I just can't do it. You're an e-girl. You know the rule. No e-girls. Who's got the clip? No e-girls. Never.
Speaking of, I completely forgot about Brittany Venti. I didn't even plan on this. Hold up. This is funny. This will sum up her entire week on Twitter. From Brittany Venti, leaving a tip for the waitress. What do I look like? Some kind of simp? And I think if we just go directly to her profile, she has been non-stop talking about the simp meme. This idea that if you're giving money to women you don't even know because they're an e-girl, then you're a simpleton, you're a sucker, you're getting taken advantage of. She changed it in the last 16 hours when I started talking about it, when I made fun of her on Twitter for being all about the simp meme. You changed her pinned tweet. Her last pinned tweet was, it's the same thing. It was, if you don't like being called a simp because you donate to my YouTube, you can click on this Amazon link and give me money anonymously. You can anonymously give me money through Amazon if you go through this avenue. You don't have to put up with the abuse. All this stuff is recent. Thought posting with tits out, of course. That's what Brittany does. Let's see. Yeah, she tweeted a bunch of shit in the last day. I'm streaming today in 40 minutes on YouTube. No simps allowed. Black yes. A bunch of stuff celebrating her proud quadroon heritage. How to cure simps, a proposal. The Daily Simp, the latest podcast. Do not reply, simps. Just lots of shit about, and I think it's affecting true simp. Yeah, she made an entire video about it. That's great. Because I think that she was laughing at it at first. She was making fun of it, like as a concept at first, but now I think it's starting to affect her bottom line in such a way that she is getting kind of upset about it. Y'all got real quiet. What? I really don't like Brittany Venti. I think it's because she looks like she stinks, and it's like an olfactory offense that I can't really put into words well. Yeah, she does. She looks. She looks like said the squat sloth, eyes far apart. And what's funny is I don't know what she does. Chat, can you guys tell me what she does for money? Why do people give her shit? What does she do? Is she like a Sargon tier, like conservative? What do you call that? When like it's not like a white nationalist, it's civic nationalist. Is she like one of those civic nationalist types of people? E-thoughting, fetal alcohol syndrome, cleavage, Narcissa over Venti. That's true. My boy Narcissa, back at it again. I can't show speedrunning footage on this because it's boring as shit to watch unless you're like a nerd. But Narcissa, Cosmo, the person I did a full stream on, is back at the world record game and has made several attempts at world record in the last few days for Ocarina of Time, which was the run that Narcissa got famous for, was the world record of Ocarina of Time. So while Brittany is slaving away trying to get those simp dollars, Narcissa, the champion of speedrunning, has been taking their records to higher and higher heights and has gotten a job. Unlike Chibi and Brittany Venti, Chibi is posting pictures of his flaccid penis for no reason whatsoever on Twitter. I think he's like into that. I think Chibi is one of those people who's just like into the shame game, because there's no, you know what? I bet you I can do this because I don't have to show you guys anything. I can just play the audio. That should be sufficient. Assuming my site wants to load, which is a very, very possible that it won't load at all because it's been suffering. There we go. No. Oh, of course.
Hi, I'm a big guy.
For you.
And I really hope this doesn't end up anywhere. Okay.
That is Chibi, a speedrunner who's not as good as Narcissa, by the way. Just putting that out there. Squatting naked in front of a camera, completely limp. And I have no idea what the purpose of this video is. I think he released it on his own because he's into that. But I don't know. That would be my guess, is that he's into it. Because there's definitely no woman asking for it. That's not a possibility. It just has to be a thing. Oh well. I could talk about the Iowa caucus. Is that worth talking about? I guess it is. I should frame this historically for the viewers in 2024 listening to this, in the far off year of 2024. This week, President Donald J. Trump has survived the Senate trial of his impeachment. He was impeached for 2 counts of whatever the fuck involving Ukraine. Very predictably, he was not removed from office because it requires a simple majority of 51% to pass impeachment, articles of impeachment. It requires a super majority of 67 of 100 senators to remove a sitting president from office. And very predictably, the Senate is like 53 Republicans, 46 Democrats, and only 1 Republican swing against Trump, which was Mitt Romney, also very predictable. The whole thing is just predictable, which is why I'm not sounding too... If I don't sound too excited about the impeachment stuff, it's because I'm not excited at all. Very obvious from the onset that it wouldn't happen, because it's you're not going to get any GOP to vote against Trump to remove him from office. There's just no way. There is never any chance. Literally, I think Trump could murder someone on Fifth Avenue and not be removed from office for it. It's nobody would want him to see him gone. And especially just in terms of the instability that would cause in the country to have the president of the United States removed from office, I think would do more damage to the country than, especially at this point, waiting for him to lose an election. If he's that bad, just, keep the lid on him. Wait until the election comes up, which is this year. It's only a couple months away. Get ready, everyone, because it's coming up. And then just remove him from office that way by having him lose the election. But the problem with the Democrats is that their party is completely shattered. And I don't like talking about politics, but I'm looking at this. I try to look at this objectively. I'm looking at this objectively. I know there is no fucking way that Trump is going to get removed from office. But then I look at the Iowa caucus that just happened, where there's tons and tons of doubt regarding the integrity of the voting system that they had in place there for the caucuses. You see how much within the Democratic Party, how much the different groups of people hate each other. The Bernie people seem to be completely on their own, and the Warren people hate him. The Biden people hate him. They hate the establishment candidates. The other two kind of hate each other. They're very angry, and they're angry at one another, and it's hard to imagine them by the end of this election putting together a campaign that unifies the party in such a way it could ever challenge Trump. And I don't mean to bore people with political takes, but it's been on my mind because, again, I try to look at things very impartially, and when I look at the current situation that the DNC is in, I get really scared. Because if you think as a Republican or as a conservative or as someone who just isn't for the status quo, but who supports Trump, that your views aren't being adequately remedied by the government, that you are not represented by the system, imagine how it feels right now as someone on the left, where you have President Trump, and where you literally believe that there's like a Nazi fascist resurrection in the United States, where you literally believe that the DNC is controlled by the same people that control Trump, and they're coming down hard on your boy Bernie, who can raise the socialist revolution and the red flags and stuff. If you're one of those people, you must feel terrible right now. You might feel very violent even, and I get scared when I think of that. Not because I think Antifa or whatever is a very scary group, but those are the kinds of the level of disenfranchisement which is required for starting very terrible things. So on one hand, it's like, yes, I'm very frustrated with the system, and I don't think that Trump has done as much as I would have wanted him to. But on the other hand, when I look at the Democrats, I see people who are far worse off than on the right now. We're winning. We're making little strides, right? Things are not perfect, but we got our boy in. We're probably going to get our boy in a second time, right? Not on the left. Who the fuck are you voting for? Who are you rooting for if you're a Sanders supporter? You're probably not a fan of Nancy Pelosi or Warren or Biden. Those aren't your heroes, and those are the only people who you're going to get to elect. So I don't know. I don't mean to go on too long about that, but who cares? All they can do is line. Who cares about people born after 1993? All they can do is eat hot chip and vote for Sanders, right? Oh, well. At least I can't get the coronavirus. How will liberals rebel without gun laws? I don't know. I'm not going to get too into that. I don't want to talk about Civil War. Let's talk about trannies. Here's a fun topic. I like this. I found out about this today because there was a big thing on Twitter that someone in my Discord was talking about. It's called Giggle. Isn't that sweet? It's for girls. The collective noun for a group of girls. A giggle of girls. Oh, I get it. It's a very, very cute app. And they want to make it a safe place for women, right? So what do? When you get the app, you You verify that you're a woman by taking your phone and kind of doing like a scan across your face so that it can get a 3D profile of it. As they say in their FAQ, why is biometric gender verification software used to access Giggle? The aim is to create a safe and secure platform for girls. Biometric gender verification software ensures that those within the platform are verified as girls. In biometric systems, the goal of liveness testing is to determine if the biometric being captured is an actual measurement from the authorized live person who was present at the time of the capture. This involves a 3D selfie that performs a quick study of the person's bone structure to determine the female gender. It's bioscience, not pseudoscience like phrenology, which, if you don't know, is like the measuring of skulls to determine intelligence. Our process determines both male and female genders and does not discriminate by race or age. Unfortunately, it doesn't verify trans girls, but we can help you at Giggle HQ if you contact us. Obviously, that's a little bit problematic. I shouldn't have to tell you. I shouldn't have to get approved. I should just be let in. I should be able to tell my gender identity. It should just take me at my word, right? So the co-founder of this app is on Twitter getting lambasted to the point where they added this second thing at the very top of the FAQ. Are trans girls welcome on Giggle? Of course, Giggle is for all girls. Due to the gender verification software that Giggle uses, trans girls will experience trouble with being verified. It's a simple matter of two technologies working together. Of course, Giggle HQ will gladly assist with the onboarding process in an equally fun and modern way. If you're having trouble being verified, please contact us here. So, the technology, the facial recognition technology, is so good, it can actually tell what your chromosomes are. Problem is that we live in 2020, and that's just not good enough. Men should be allowed to join if they feel like a woman and participate in these safe places for little girls. That's the gambit. That's the name of the game. I feel really bad because, you know, whenever I think about stuff like this, and you know, all these people are eating shit on Twitter and stuff, I just remember when I was like a teenager, how important it was for my school, my IT institute when I was in high school, to encourage women to join STEM. And now it's like they've completely given up on that. You can't have women in STEM anymore because the men who are claiming to be women will push them out of STEM. It's not safe to be a woman online. You can't even be a woman online. Because you'll get lumped in with men in your sphere. So it's like with my sympathies to the left. I feel sorry for the women. Granted, it is the women's fault that things are as they are, but what can I say? I still feel bad. They didn't know. They didn't know that it would be this way. I'm not going to play this video. I'll probably link to it, but I talked about Ellie Palmer before, and she is a female to male to female detransitioner. And this video is quite sad because she kind of goes over how she was a little girl, had some body image issues, ended up, I think she was anorexic when she was a young teenager, and went to a therapist and ended up getting put on testosterone very early in life. And I will play just a little bit of it because I want you guys, if you haven't heard this before, I want you to hear her voice.
Because I haven't picked them out. But I wanted to start this so that I would be able to have an idea of what I'm going to show.
It's not edited. It's not like the bass is dropped. That is the result of testosterone on a 15, 16-year-old girl, maybe 17. And she goes through, like, that's her as a teenager. I think that's right when she started to... You can tell she's really, really young there when she decides to question gender identity. I want to see the point. I think this is where she starts getting on testosterone. This is okay. I think it's hard to tell. I think that's after they begin to detransition and try to become a woman again. Just to kind of skip through this. I know it's not going to be interesting if you're on the podcast, but It is really sad because the hormones have irreversibly fucked this person up. Her life is severe. I'm not going to say ruined, but they will experience a kind of hardship that most people can't understand. It is a very modern issue that is probably going to affect a lot of people in our lifetime. Like, that's going to be our great trauma, is how we took all these kids and we fucked them up for no reason because we didn't understand what we were doing, and we're guided by a sense of I don't know what to call it. We're just idiots. We try to be good. We didn't want to be bigots like our grandparents were, so we swung too hard the other way, and now we've just like ruined a bunch of people's lives. Oh well. Okay, I have to warn everyone. I'm gonna open up another tab, and the person I'm gonna be reading from drops the gamer word a couple times. Now, I'm on YouTube, and I personally contacted Susan Wojcicki, and I asked her, can I drop the gamer word? I am 2% black according to 28andMe, 52andMe. According to 52andMe, I am 2% gamer. Can I say the gamer word? And she says, don't you fucking dare. So I say, okay, I won't say the gamer word. Instead, I'm just going to say gamer word. But if you hear it, just know what that means. This is from one angry gamer. One irate gamer. I'm just gonna read it as it is. I don't know the context, but I found this exchange very funny, so we're gonna enjoy it together. LOL. Gamer word farms our audience? Nah. They're the ones who launch hack ops on us and work with Narwitz, who I think is Sophia Narwitz. Who I talked to, I can't remember. Oh, it was the E3 hack. During the E3 hack, I spoke to Sophia Narwitz because she got blamed for the release of the docs and the E3 thing. But work with Narwitz to get us deplatformed. We have no audience from them. They hate this site and have been posting a lot of fake news and false information to feed it to the F gamer word on KIA Twitter to get the site deplatformed. He continues, You'll note that they distort a lot of info about certain people and events to fit their narratives. People who go against that are usually banned from the thread, so it creates the echo chamber, like you mentioned. But as Dozen pointed out, they're mostly lefties. Pro T gamer word, pro N gamer word, pro J gamer word, pro Glomo homo, all that jazz. They're essentially too spurgy for the chans, yet too autistic for Reddit. Are those both the same thing? Whatever. You're only half right. I never give a rat's ass about those Kiwi cucks. Why the fuck would I want to be accepted by a bunch of neckbeard Delta losers and Jew degenerates that are standing for everything I hate? Okay. Only reason I went there was because you were too much of a wimpy, sissified beta bitch who's controlled too much by his feminine side, which is why you banned me and my alts. I was banned from the most cucked SJW sites, so Kiwi Cunts was my last stop. I went there to basically start shit, but they were even more pussified than you and banned me for roasting a few of the autistic incel spurgs that talk shit about me. Do I really look like I give a fuck if I get banned? I have more accounts than they have imaginary friends. Wow, what a fantastic... What a thing to brag about. Yeah, I spent all fucking day doing this. I got no life. I'm going to be at this all day if I have to. They did no damage to me, as if he's like a Pokemon or something. If anything, I damaged them by blowing, and then it says Seymour, so I'm just going to assume that he means literally blowing dick and move on. Billy responds, of course, even if they don't directly tell people to hack the site, it's a little like someone rolling a carriage into the middle of a street. When it gets hit by a car, they say, well, we weren't driving the car. They are Kiwi F gamer words. I'll send you the info later, but they were in the OAG thread. They're friends with the fur F gamer word. That's an axe to grind against OAG. Also, you might want to let people know what's up because they don't trust me, and they shouldn't since I tell everyone to trust the facts and not me in this thread. I'll just skip that one because it doesn't see. Oh wait, okay, I have to read that one because it says gamer words. Who said you had to be friends? If you wanted to make peace, make peace. If not, then no one is stopping you from being enemies. I don't really care either way. We found common ground on the BS being spewed by the in-word or in-gamer word farms, and the fact despite them claiming to be anything goes, some of them are still triggered bitches who shut down and censor conversation they don't like, which makes it known that they're more about their ideology than actual free speech. He had some plans to get back at them. I had some info to help him out. I have no idea who any of these people are, but I was reading this exchange, and I was just like, what the fuck are these people talking about? I figured I'd read it, because it's funny. If you have any more information about this person, please post in his Gamer Word Farms thread, because I'd be curious to see. I'm going to be doing a lot of reading today. Let me get some water while I play this video that I could only find on eBombs World.
We have an emergency. The Jesuits are about to launch a nuclear bomb that has semen in it that will infect everyone. We need our scientists all over the world to help us stop this bomb. And also, it's going to be like Jesuit bukkake in a nuclear bomb, and it's headed towards Canada, where Judge Terrance Jenkins is right now. Any scientists out there that can help us stop this bomb, or come up with some sort of spermicide that will counter all the germs that are going to come out of this bomb, contact Judge Terrance Jenkins at Judge Terry Jenkins, JUDGETERRY JENKINS at yahoo.com, or Judge Terry Jenkins, or go to Gerard Butler, GERARDBUTLERMD at gmail.com. They are going to, the nuclear bomb is headed right towards Canada right now, where Terry Jenkins is. We need scientists and military to intervene. This bomb.
Okay, you might be thinking, this woman is crazy. Why haven't you talked about her before, Joshua Connor Moon? Why have you omitted this woman talking about nuclear bukkake attacks on Canada? What is your motivation? Are you white knighting again, Josh? Well, yes, I am, actually. Crazy Gail, as she is known, is essentially a parrot. After Christian West and Chandler Trolls got bored of Chris, they moved on to other people. And one of the people they found was Crazy Gail. I will show you. It won't even take. It'll sink in immediately as I play the second half of this clip. Why I don't talk to her, or talk about her rather.
Can hello?
Yeah, it's me again.
Yeah, keep talking. I actually have the video going right now, and I think you're being recorded.
Oh my goodness, I'm on video. That's amazing.
Yes, say what you need to say.
Well, our scientists and nanotechnology research team is saying that this is a new bukkake. It's a new kind of nuclear bomb. It's a bomb that's got bukkake in it. It's gonna infect the whole world with Jesuit semen.
Okay, keep
so that's
going.
all I needed to tell you.
Okay.
Everyone,
I think you're being recorded. I hope so.
Okay, I hope so too.
Okay,
Dan.
all right. So
okay.
I'm gonna go.
Okay, bye-bye.
That is why everything that Crazy Gail says, everything that she believes, is just an idea that someone came up with and put in her head, which she will say with absolute conviction, and you'll think, oh, this woman's so crazy, ha ha ha. She's all wrapped up about the Jesuits, she's all wrapped up about this and the new bukkake. Wow, what a crazy woman. Yeah, she's crazy, but not in the way that a lot of people think. She's crazy and susceptible to suggestion. And that guy you just heard is the whole reason why she thinks that a nuclear bomb filled with semen is coming for Canada. Now, that was this was on New Bombs, and I think this video came out in 2011, not 2013. Or eBombs World, not New Bombs. This is a long post, but I'll get through as much as I can of it. Gail was not imagining security or police at her door. It's not clear who was there at the time or how many or if there were any at that moment, but authorities of some kind did contact Gail and later remove her. It's not too sure if it was really secret security at her door, however, rather than local officials. I'm at liberty to say that I'm connected with a few close relatives of Gail's who have been trying, along with her sister and her son, to convince Gail to seek psychological help, which she wholeheartedly refuses. There have been petitions filed by the family to have Gail assessed, but due to Gail's previously high level functioning, the authorities wouldn't be able to accept another family member's request for an involuntary hold since Gail was not a danger to herself or others, was taking antipsychotics as prescribed, and was able to sustain herself despite her ongoing delusions. The family watches these videos to keep an eye on Gail since, according to the relative, Gail has cut communications with almost anyone in her family but her son and mother, truly believing them to be Jesuit clones. I asked the relative how Gail got such an idea, and she told me Gail's men, internet trolls, call her up telling her these things, and Gail seems to listen to whatever the people in question tell her. The relative was really disturbed by the bathtub video and is genuinely and legitimately worried that Gail is a legitimate risk to herself and is unable to care for herself and is exposing herself. So the relative contacted the authorities to tell them about the letter she sent to the White House and requested that someone, at the very least, do a wellness check on Gail. The representative she spoke with said that he would review the video and contact her back, but that it would be unlikely they could rely on a YouTube video to prove that someone warrants either a psych hold or even arrest. So apparently the relative got a call back from the police department the next day stating that the video itself wasn't ground for a psychiatric evaluation, but that he hoped she didn't send a letter with real pubic hair to the White House that would result in criminal charges and Gail's arrest. But there's no way of knowing at the time that the letter was actually sent, and the police could not give any more information. However, since this date, no one in Gail's family has been able to contact her. Her son called the police department, and they would not release specific details other than that her lawyer would have to reach him. That's all I've been told. I'm almost certain Gail was detained, but she is either being investigated or has been charged with a crime. Nonetheless, I'm waiting for an update back from the relative. Gail's mother is going to check on her home and go from there. So, in gist, these people isolated Gail from her entire family so that they could not intervene in her trolling plans, so that they could get a 60-something-year-old schizophrenic woman to strip naked for them and talk about Jesuit bukkake bombs on YouTube videos. And apparently their brilliant idea was to send a letter filled with pubic hair to the White House, and that might have gotten her arrested. So I'm kind of happy about that, because Gail probably should be in some kind of psychiatric facility. She's obviously fucking insane. She's obviously delusional. And as I saw with Terry, blessed be his name, people on the internet really don't seem to understand that you shouldn't fuck with schizophrenics and make them believe shit, because they may end up throwing themselves in front of a fucking train if you do that. I don't, people will get mad at me when I white knight, but I don't even see any ambiguity between this. I don't see any problem differentiating between trolling someone and getting a vulnerable person to accept your reality as their own in such a way that they can no longer tell truth from fiction. I don't have any ability sorting those two things out from each other, and I don't know how people can fault me for it. Because the people who are surrounding Chris now and getting him to talk about these fucking dimensional merges should all be in jail, because they're fucking with a severely demented person who needs to be isolated from the internet at this point. Terry fucking died. Proof of concept that this shit is stupid and dangerous and not funny. And then Gail, the moment, okay, you watch 60 seconds of one of her videos where she is saying these things, and you're confused and you're laughing because it's funny, and then you hear the Skype call, and you hear this fucking idiot talking in his stupid fucking voice, his fake-ass fucking accent, and you think, that motherfucker is 100% of where these ideas come from. And it's just bullshit. This was a reply in response to this larger comment I just read from, I believe her cousin, Daniel Schuller. You had no permission to share that, but nonetheless, Sandra told you that she did not want to risk trolls getting everyone's information and calling any of us again. Our family is not a laughingstock. Do you think that I like to see her like this or talking about nasty things all over the internet? Now that she's in custody, I don't want them calling us since they will be bored that my aunt won't be uploading any videos for their sick entertainment. So, best of luck to Gail. Hopefully all these people fuck off. Hopefully they get fucking investigated. I don't know how that's not illegal. How do you manipulate a schizophrenic into committing a crime and then not eat shit for it? You'd think they would. Because I know these people like visit her house. I think she had Thanksgiving dinner with a couple of them once some time ago. No, Sandra is her mother, I think. Boomer cops who don't understand the internet. Well, let me get some water because I got one more interesting all law and arrest this week. I got one more thing that I find personally the most entertaining, and that'll be a wrap up for this week. Okay. Hopefully I'm not going to get banned for any information in these papers. But if you don't know, I've mentioned before, Ashley, Low Tax's current wife and mother of his youngest daughter, is at a woman's shelter a state away. And they're currently going through the divorce proceedings. And I pulled some information on their lawyers. Actually, let me go ahead and bring that up right now. Kind of show you what they're up against. She took the kid after a disagreement in November and left for this woman's shelter. And now that they're finally getting papers filed, this is her attorney, Ryan Laudermilk. And Ryan is someone who became a lawyer late in life and is working for a charity doing pro bono representation for women who are at risk and whose immigration status is being used by their husbands to have control over them. So he's a charity worker. This guy is Low Tax's representation. This guy is a senior attorney, a senior partner of his agency, and he's been a lawyer since 1993. So almost 30 years of experience working in family law versus someone who literally just got out of college like 2 years ago. So, and from what I understand, he's a super lawyer with a strong history, very expensive, and Low Tax is using all that Patreon money he got to hire this super lawyer to completely and totally fuck his wife. His only accomplishment so far, by the way, is getting her to possibly take down and refund her GoFundMe of $3,000 that she was using to take care of their daughter. So excellent job, super lawyer, in depriving your client's child of food. Very impressive. Not spiteful and dickish at all. I've been told that Low Tax and his lawyer believe that the Kiwi farm is being used as an instrument against Low Tax at her request. She is coordinating this online effort to deprive him of income because his Patreon dollars have just continue to spiral downwards. For some reason, no one can figure this out. Must be the Kiwi farms, and it must be her specifically causing this. So I may not end up having to give a sworn under oath affidavit saying that at no point has she requested that I attack Low Tax's reputation on her behalf. So what I really wanted to read was this, though. Someone on the forum managed to pull the police report for Low Tax reporting his kid as missing. Let me hide this real quick because I want to make sure I know the day of the incident. Okay, so it was the 17th of January. Now, remember that their kid had been gone for a while. The kid had been gone since the middle of November. It took him a full month to do anything. And then in January, he finally reported a kidnapping of his kid that had been gone for 2 months at this point. 2 months. And I'll just read it because it's funny. On January 17th, 2020, I'll fucking skip that, whatever. Maynard and I were dispatched to the headquarters lobby in regard to a parental kidnapping. Upon our arrival, we contact Richard Kayenka, reporting party inside the building. Richard stated the following to me. On November 25th, 2019, so he does state that it's been 2 months at this point, Ashley Martin, the suspect, took their daughter, and all the information about the kid is censored because it's a minor, took their daughter to an unknown shelter. On the 26th, he checked their T-Mobile account, which showed that it was used near a shelter off Highway 71 in Kansas City, Missouri. Not in Kansas, by the way, in case you're curious. Kansas City is actually in Missouri. As of today, he has not been able to see his daughter and has not been able to get a hold of Ashley through phone calls. Ashley's phone goes straight to voicemail or social media. Richard advised he served an ex parte and had court on the 10th of January in regard to a case involving Ashley. He advised at court he saw Ashley with his ex-wife, Megan Kayenka, who was the Asian wife that his oldest daughter was born to. He had also been told by his neighbor that lives at, I think that's the women's shelter. That's why it's censored, because that's where the kid's at the women's shelter, that was out mowing one day and saw Megan pick Ashley up from the residence. He advised he has asked Megan, and if she knew where Ashley and the daughter were, Megan denied knowing anything. Richard advised prior to Ashley leaving with the daughter, Ashley did not like Megan and always spoke unkindly of her. He also advised Ashley is here illegally. Oh, just throwing it out there, by the way, please. She's an illegal immigrant. I know y'all don't like them illegal immigrants too much, so if you want to take care of that there, that'd be mighty kind of you. And feared she might have been taken back to Canada with her. Richard advised the day of the court hearing from the ex parte he had a process server serve Ashley with divorce paperwork. Since that day, they haven't been to court or moved forward with the divorce. Richard completed a written statement that I later submitted into evidence. I have nothing further to report. It continues. Is Lotax's older daughter a future Elliot Rogers? Perhaps. The officer then called on the 21st to Ashley to contact him in regard to the case. And then Megan, the first wife, was contacted. Megan told me the following. She is the ex-wife of Richard Kayenka. They were married for 9 years. During their marriage, Richard was physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive towards her. She advised that Ashley left Richard for the mental abuse and mentally and emotionally abusive behavior. Ashley and the daughter are safe and staying at a local shelter. Megan stated that Ashley is afraid of Richard. He has threatened to have her deported, and she is afraid of what he could do to her. Megan stated that in 2018, Ashley was arrested for domestic assault and that she was actually defending herself from Richard, because she did have a prior arrest for assault, and that gets brought up later. Megan advised that she did not attend the adult abuse hearing with Ashley. I requested Megan to contact Ashley and have her call me about this report. I wanted to confirm that she and the daughter are safe. On the 21st of January, I spoke with Ashley K. Martin in regard to the case. She stated the following, that she and the daughter is in a domestic violence shelter. She moved out of the house on November 18th, November 2019, I think. She moved out of the house in November. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. I have to understand that cops in the U.S. are usually high school educated and no more. These reports are a little bit hard to follow because they type them up and they have lots of mistakes. But I remember the story. She left while he was visiting the other woman, the Logan Day character who's been around his house and on stream since. So she moved out of the house in November 2019 while Richard was out of town. She advised that during their marriage, Richard had been verbally abusive to her. He has put his hands on her a couple times during their almost 5-year marriage. He has punched walls after she did not show him appreciation for taking care of her while she was sick. He has threatened to have her deported back to Canada. She has documented the abuse that she has received from Richard during their marriage. He abuses prescription drugs, and she is afraid that he is unable to care for their daughter while she would be in his care. She is currently in her second shelter because Richard found out where she was staying. The shelter moved them to a different location because they were afraid of her safety. During the marriage, she was never on any of their bank accounts, and prior to leaving, she was able to withdraw $3,000 from their business account. She put the money into a different bank, and that doesn't have access to that anymore. She doesn't have a driver's license. She was denied a full court order against her and was served divorce paperwork. She does not have any legal counsel to assist her with the divorce or citizenship. She has been waiting to see if she qualifies for legal aid. The shelter she's at does not have legal assistance. I advise Ashley that I will see if I can get her legal services, and that she has 30 days to reply to the divorce paperwork. I contacted the local shelter, and they gave her legal assistance, is what this page says. Next page, I spoke with Jackson County Aaron Hunt in regard to the case. I asked Hunt of the case and the past domestic assault report, and this is in regards to the domestic abuse case against Ashley from Richard. So after she defended herself against him, he reported her for domestic abuse. I informed her Ashley left Richard due to abuse and that Richard abuses prescription medication. I informed her that I spoke with Richard's ex-wife, Megan, to confirm the allegations that Ashley told me. Hunt advised that the report does not raise to a level of parental kidnapping. She advised that they have an interference of child custody. Richard filed divorce in December. And again, a month after she left, he files divorce. And then a month later, he files this police report. And then there's a case hearing. I think they had their first hearing in regard to the divorce case this week. Okay, I think this is the one where it gets juicy. But that all was a good recap of the situation. On the 21st, I spoke with Richard Kayanka in regards to the case. So this is the first time since the initial filing, because he's been talking to the women since then. Richard told me the following, that he spoke to his attorney in regard to not seeing his daughter since November 2019. His attorney, this dude thinks that it just became 2019. That's why he keeps saying 2018, because he doesn't know that it's not registered in his brain that we're in 2020 yet. Since November 2019. His attorney told him to make a kidnapping report. I asked Richard why it took him so long to make a police report in regards to this and his daughter being missing, which is a good fucking question if you ask me. He stated that he was uncertain on where she was and couldn't get in contact with Ashley. I advised him that he was aware that she was staying at a shelter because he reported it to the officer that took the report. He stated that he had to wait for Ashley to apply for an ex parte before he could try and locate them. He was aware that she was in a shelter, but he was unable to confirm if she was actually staying there. I informed Richard that Ashley and the daughter were safe at the metro area shelter. He asked me if she was still at the original shelter. I informed him that she had moved to another shelter since he had found out where they were located. I confirmed with Richard that he has filed for divorce at the Jackson County, Missouri courts. I confirmed with him that Ashley was served the divorce papers at the adult abuse hearing. I informed him that Ashley has 30 days to respond to the hearing. I let him know that she was in the process of retaining an attorney. Once she has retained an attorney, his attorney can communicate with hers about getting custody time with the daughter. I advised Richard that Ashley advised she left him due to abuse. I explained to him that I cannot show she took the daughter without good cause, meaning that it wasn't a kidnapping. I also informed him that I spoke with his ex-wife, Megan Kayanka, in regard to the case. And this is the best part. If you've fallen asleep because I'm reading to you, and it's sleepy time, wake up. As soon as I told Richard that I spoke with Megan, he was unable to form words and said that me speaking with Ashley and his ex-wife does not show him in good standing. He wanted to let me know that he has a text message from Megan, stating that he is a good father and that she would never take the daughter away from him. I asked him if these text messages were sent to him after she left, and he said no. He advised that he has not had any communication with Ashley since she left. He wanted to let me know that Ashley was arrested for assaulting him, I advised Richard that I was aware of the past domestic assault report between him and Ashley. After I explained to Richard that the case does not rise to the level of parental kidnapping, he stated that he didn't. He stated that he still didn't understand. I advised Richard to have his attorney contact me in regard to the case. I will explain it to his attorney on why this does not rise to the level of parental kidnapping. End of report. Richard Kayanka left a message in regard to the case. I left a message, and this is the same day after that call. I left Richard a message to contact me. I spoke with Richard in regard to the case. Richard advised that he spoke with his attorney, and he confirmed with him that it was not parental kidnapping. He wanted to know why it does not show without good cause on possibly being kidnapping. I advised him that Ashley stated that he was abusive and abuses prescription medication. Richard said thank you, and we ended our conversation. At this point, he recommends the case closed. Insufficient evidence to file. This does not rise to the level of parental kidnapping. Ashley left, at no uncertain terms, Ashley left Richard due to an abusive relationship. End of report. Ashley again he calls her. I spoke with Ashley in regard to the case. Ashley told me the following, that the legal aid is taking her divorce case. I informed her that I told Richard of the allegations of abuse and prescription abuse. I told her that once her attorney responds to the courts, they need to start working out a custody plan. She stated that she understood and would like for the daughter to have a relationship with her father. And then finally, the cherry on top of this very fun little ride. The following day at 11 a.m., Carol called me in regard to the case. Carol is the mother of Richard Kayanka's mother, so his grandmother calls the police. She wanted to inform me that Ashley Martin is lying and that she has proof. She advised that she is trying to stay in the county, probably the country, I think he means to say, trying to stay in the country, and the only way she can do it is under the UVA law to stay in the country. She advised me that she is the immigration bondholder for Ashley Martin. She believes that she uses this to stay in the country. She stated that she has let immigration know that Ashley is not in compliance. Carol stated that she has not talked to Ashley since November 2019. She stated that Ashley never complained to her or her family that she was being abused by Richard. So, Grandma Kayanka got this. Grandma Kayanka gonna call up, talk to the police, and get Richard all sorted out so he can stay inside. He can let his super lawyer and his mommy take care of the mean woman who took his daughter away, and he doesn't need to do anything. He doesn't need to work on something awful. He doesn't need to sort out his relationship. He can just keep fucking bipolar disorder ladies and popping Xannies and drinking box line. He is the when you think of Pepe wrapped up in his blanket, drinking his mocha, all comfy, living the neat life while the wagey cagey is out busting his ass for Papa Bezos, that is him. That is Pepe. That is the maximum comfy. That is the neat life. That is as good as it gets. So we can only aspire to have a life as comfy, as cozy as Richard Kayanka. And the real thing that gets me is that Ashley, they've been married for 5 years. And if you know anything about low tax, if you know anything about something awful, the last 5 years have not been good for them. It has been a slow decline, loss of income. He's been dipping into his 401k to keep it up. And then in April, I want to say, like a couple months ago, not that long ago, not a full year ago for sure, he gets that Patreon set up and he's making $15,000 a month. And he's still making over $8,000 a month. Oh, I'm seething with him. I wish I had a life as free from pain as low taxes, man. That guy does not feel anything. You could put him as a wheel to a car and drive him down the road, and he would get up and walk away without feeling a thing. That is the kind of cozy that we all aspire to. But like, you know, even after she left, he was still making more than $10,000. I want to say more than $9,000, and she still laughed. So it was never about money with her. It was never about the internet fame, about the money. she must have liked him, because I remember I spoke to her very briefly. We had a text message conversation when Schmorky was outed as a pedophile, because Lotax was really getting up. He was gearing up to take something awful back, to kick the Troons out, and to take control of his own site and make it something awful again, right? And she was all for that, and she was talking to me because she wanted to know if I would help. I said, sure, you know. But after a little while, when he got pushed back from Zendeath Robot and that other guy, I forgot his name. He had like a boring dude in a white shirt as his avatar, but he was another admin. They pushed him back and said, no, you're not going to detroon the forum. You're not going to take it back. And he just said, okay, whatever. And he collapsed back on the sofa in a sloth way, just with his pills, his pillies, and his box wine. Stop trying to save that shitty website. I don't know. It is what it is. I'm just saying, you know, it might have been possible some time ago. Opium haze. But no, I think that more than anything is what happened to her, because she saw him have two different opportunities to take control of his life. He had all the tools available to him to do it, and he just fucking lays there, and he has the audacity to take that money and then fly out of state and fuck like crazy danger hairs and shit. Oh well. I think that's it. I think that's the caper for the show. I just want to read through that. Everyone's life is a mess. The Kiwi Farms is dying because my poor server with 2 R's is choking on the disk drive. I need to shell out a lot more money than I'd like to get a new one. But I'll probably have that sorted out next week. Yeah, maybe I can call my grandma and get her to sort out my server for me. Oh well. All right, my friends, is that it? Can you guys think of anything else worth mentioning? The server is over. The server is over. The server needs to get replaced bad. Oh man, if I had $15,000, everyone in my life would be fat. All right, fuck this. Let's go. I'll spare you guys any more of this. I don't think I'll be doing anything tomorrow, but I will be back hopefully. I'll have to think about next week. Nothing significant about the day, but I'll let you know if there's any changes to the plan. I'll see you when I see you, though. I'll definitely stream sometime next week. But until then, take it easy, my friends.
Would you be upset if I told you we were dying? And every cure they gave us was a lie. Oh, they mean it when they say we're dead and doomed. And every single symptom brings us closer to the tomb. And who will take the credit for our swift and bending fall? Because it's not my fault. Would you be impressed if I said that the dead would help us counting? When seeing a moment that we waste our time. All the time we're spending vaccinating this disease. I just can't sit when I think of all the ways we try to hide our melodies. We won, we died, and everything is fine because it's not my fault. I knew it was a lie. And when I woke, I knew that it was time to pray, to make amends before the end, before my judgment day. I looked around, I stood alone, I knew what I had to say. I said it's all my fault.